Hello, potato. This time of year, the afternoons are long and hot, and the sun doesn't go down till like 9 o'clock at night, and the temperatures may not cool down at all. It could be 1 in the morning and still be 90 degrees outside, and I can think of no better time to need to take a nice, cold, refreshing tea break. And so today we're going to try not one, but 2 teas from Joyba. Bubble tea. It's 2 teas, it's T2, it's Tea Judgment Day. Joyba bubble teas with delicious popping boba, no artificial sweeteners, non-GMO, non-BPA, non-caring from my point of view. We've actually seen 3 different flavors of these out and about. There are the 2 we have here, mango passion fruit green tea and raspberry dragon fruit black tea, neither of which are flavors that I'm particularly thrilled by. There's a 3rd flavor out there though, but we've only seen it like at the grocery store. And that one sounded better. I don't remember what it was now though. I think it was another black tea. But I liked the flavor, I think, in that one better. But since like a 4-pack from the grocery store costs as much as an 8-pack from Costco, guess what we bought to try them? Now, I've not had the best of luck trying ready-to-drink bobas up to this point, but they've all been milk teas, and they've all had that like awful crystal boba. If you like that, that's great. But to me, it's like chewing on a sodden Super Ball, and I don't care for the texture, and there's no flavor to speak of that I could detect. So I don't care for those. But this has the popping boba in it, which I've not had a lot of the popping boba. I know we had one of our drinks at Pim's Taste Kitchen in California Adventure had popping boba in it, although it was a little hard to like separate it out, but it was good. And I think I've had it popping boba in a couple. I think there used to be a fruit cup that had popping boba in it. So, I mean, it's not like I've never had popping boba before. I've never actually had it in tea, which is actually kind of odd. That's like where it belongs, right? So each Joyba tea comes ready to drink with apparently a straw built into the side there. The mango passion fruit green is 130 calories. The raspberry dragon fruit black is 120 calories. I have no idea about caffeine content though. No protein. 0% sodium, 1% sodium in the raspberry. Number 1 ingredient in the mango is green tea. Number 1 ingredient in the raspberry is black tea. So that's good. They are predominantly tea, or at least mostly tea, or the biggest ingredient is tea. But I'm assuming being black tea and green tea, they're going to have some caffeine in them, but no disclosure exactly as to how much. Joyba bubble tea, drink something different. We're more than just a tea, we're a real brewed tea, infused with vibrant fruit flavors and the perfect amount of popping boba that can be enjoyed anytime, anywhere. Joyba, a little burst of happy in every sip. Popping boba, lightly flavored bubbles that pop when you bite them. Now, my experience is they more like they pop if you like breathe on them, but like I said, my experience is fairly limited. So yeah, the box came with 8 and, Costco, so naturally we picked it up. And I'm not a monster. I'm going to give this the best chance possible. So we did actually take a couple out of the box and put them in the fridge to get them nice and cold. Hopefully at least one of these will satisfy my tea break desires for the day. Here's our mango and passion fruit, and as you can see, it looks like visit Joyba.com for more. Anything else interesting? Best if consumed cold. Well, that's what we're going to try to do here. Pull tab, remove straw, extend lock. All right. So I feel like, oh, here we go. Yeah, this one. Tea may settle, shake before sipping. Well, I feel like we should probably shake it fairly gently. I mean, I don't want to pop the boba. That would be a shame to open it up and have there be no boba in there. You can barely see them. Like, you can sort of see them in there. I can sort of see them. I don't know what you can see on the camera. You may just be seeing glare off the lights. But I can sort of see them floating around in there like big old fish eggs. All right, so we're supposed to take off the straw. From where? Pull tab. Well, that worked really well. Let's try that again. Okay, and the straw is individually wrapped, so if like that gets damaged somehow, your straw is still going to be clean. See, I like these like collapsible straws. At the same point, they are extra landfill. All right, so I guess that's locked. Feels pretty locked. It's a very flimsy straw. I mean, it's a single use. How strong does a straw need to be? So let's, that's like barely long enough. I feel like that straw should be a little longer than that. Is there like a special spot to put it in? That is a very flimsy straw. Seriously. What am I doing wrong here? Oh, I've tore off the instructions, didn't I? Let's look at them right side up. And from the front, pull stab, remove straw, extend and lock in place, use pointed end to puncture lid. Well, that's not working. That's the pointed end just kind of collapses in on itself. So that's, I think, flaw number one is, there we go, is getting the straw in there without making a mess. All right, so there's our mango passion fruit. You know, these are flavors I'm particularly into, so they might be perfectly fine if you like these things. I suspect, though, that my wife is going to be drinking most of these, which I think is fine with her. I think she likes these flavors. I like the tea. I'm not so big on the fruit. All right, let's get our raspberry dragon fruit. I like black tea and I like green tea. I'm just not a big fan of the fruit flavors here. I'm not big. I mean, I've said in other videos, I think mango, particularly like Haichu mango, smells like used water. And then passion fruit, dragon fruit, I can take, raspberry's not bad. All right, so what do we got? Get a sniff on these. Well, you do have to be careful when you pick them up because tea does come out the top around the straw and pours all over the place in front of you when you go to take a sniff of it. So that's something to be careful of. I smell predominantly the mango there, which is, it's not as bad as it usually smells, but it's not great. Let's try the raspberry dragon fruit. Mostly getting the raspberry on that one. Smell-wise, I like the raspberry black better than the mango passion fruit green. I don't really smell the passion fruit or the dragon fruit, but they're not flavors that I've had enough that I think necessarily I recognize the smell from. So that's maybe not totally fair. All right, let's give them a try. Try a mango passion fruit first, since I spilled it all over the place anyways. It's really sweet. Definitely tastes the mango. I didn't get any boba though. Let's try again. I'm not getting the boba. Did I pop it all? Is it all at the bottom? The straw is just not reaching down there far enough. All right, now I got the straw all the way to the bottom. Let's try again. Well, I got one, but it got stuck in the straw and burst, so I didn't actually get to try it on its own. So the problem I'm having is that the boba is almost exactly the same size as the lip of the straw, and it gets stuck there. And the force it takes to get it into my mouth causes it to pop. So whatever the flavor of the popping boba is, I'm not getting it separate from the tea. All right, I got one now. So there's a popping boba. Let's give that a try on its own. Well, yes, it's definitely lightly flavored. It's so lightly flavored, I can't even tell what flavor it is. It's almost just like a very, very, very thin syrup. Not as sweet as the rest of the tea. It is leaving like a little, almost like a grape skin of residue in my mouth, like the shell of the tea, which is weird because when I've had popping boba before, it didn't leave a like skin in my mouth. It's not unpleasant or anything, but it's different. Yeah, it's just like a very, very super lightly sweetened syrup of no particular flavor that I can detect. But then again, my mouth has been blown out by the flavor of the tea. So it's possible there's flavor there and I'm just not getting it because the tea is kind of strongly flavored. Very fruity, very sweet, very strongly of the mango. Not offensive, but not my thing. Let's try the raspberry dragon fruit black. I think I like that one better for the tea. I can taste the raspberry. I can taste the dragon fruit. Actually, I can taste the dragon fruit stronger than I think I can taste passion fruit in that. It could just be that I'm not familiar enough with passion fruit flavor to recognize it when I'm tasting it over the mango. But this one I'm getting predominantly the raspberry, but with a decent showing from the dragon fruit. It doesn't seem as sweet to me. And I think I can actually taste the black tea. I couldn't taste the green tea in this one. It might be a little bit there at the end. I'm not getting that nice grassy kind of green flavor you should get out of green tea. But I do get the black tea flavor out of this. Let's see if we can get some of those bobas. All right, got one on the first try. So they are much darker color than the ones from the mango passion fruit. But I guess they're meant to match the color of the tea some, so they don't. I even think they'd want them to be visible, but they seem to have gone through pains to make them hard to see in the actual tea. Maybe to make it more surprising when you get one. Let's try that on its own. Again, just a very lightly sweet, very thin syrup. It feels like it's a thicker consistency than the tea itself, but not by much. I guess the idea being that they will pop like when you get in your mouth, so you don't really taste them separate from the rest of the tea. Because like just in swallowing the tea, it's hard to not pop the boba in your mouth, or at least it's hard for me to do it. So yeah, I'm really more of a milk tea kind of person than I am a fruit tea kind of person. So these don't really do much for me. They're not bad. If someone like offered me one at, I don't know, a picnic or something, and that's like all, it was like that or Pepsi, I would definitely take this. And if that was all there was, I certainly would drink it without complaint, but it's not my favorite. It's not a thing that I enjoy. I think my wife will like these. These aren't so much for me. I think I would like to try that other flavor. Maybe keep an eye out for the grocery store to put that other flavor on like a decent enough sale that I don't feel foolish spending as much for like a 2-pack or 4-pack or whatever it was as I think we spent for this entire 8-pack. But if you just want a cold, refreshing, fruity, fairly sweet beverage and an afternoon, keeping some of these in the fridge, you could certainly do worse. Like Lady Boba. That Lady Boba stuff was not. The tea was fine. Those crystal boba are awful. I definitely like the boba better than those crystal boba. So there's my ranking, but I think that's my ranking in general is like crystal boba, popping boba, traditional like tapioca boba. I'm assuming that's the traditional one. That's the one that I see the most often. Maybe it's not. Maybe the crystal's the most traditional one. I have no real idea. I'm in the US. So I'm gonna go finish my fairly sugary. How much sugar was in these? Does it say? Where did sugar fall on the ingredient list? Oh, of course, I turned it to the absolute wrongest way. Sugar is the... Sugar's way down there. Sugar's towards the bottom of the list. So I guess maybe it's largely coming the sugar in the popping boba, of course, but just as an ingredient to the tea, sugar is actually way down there. So maybe the fruit flavorings. Is there any actual fruit in these? I don't know that there is. There's lemon juice. So that's interesting. Well, something in there is very sweet. I'm not seeing any corn syrup on there either, so that's interesting. Oh, and they're good till next year. So they're pretty shelf stable too, so that's kind of a good thing. I guess maybe they're not all that sugary, but they are still quite sweet to my mouth. But yeah, they're not bad. They're not a thing that I would get regularly, but I could definitely see my wife getting them as a more regular item. And that's going to wrap up our tea break for today. I hope you found this all interesting or entertaining. If you did, go ahead, give it a like, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.